Last time on Shop Math, we learned about surface area and saw some ways that designers and builders use surface area in their work. Today we're going to look at surface area some more and practice using it to solve some real-life problems. Another situation that requires some surface area calculations is when we estimate how much paint we need to cover a surface. And not just paint, but all kinds of other finishing products are sold by how much surface area they can cover. Things like stain, polyurethane, driveway sealer, grass seed, fertilizer, cleaning solvent, floor sealer, and countless other products are purchased based on how much surface area you need to cover. Let's see an example. Let's take another look at our house from the roofing problem. This time I want to remove the roof to take a look inside. If you wanted to buy paint to paint one of the rooms in the house, how would you know how much paint to buy? Paint, stain, and other finishing products normally indicate coverage on their label. That is, how much surface area that can of paint will cover. This paint will cover about 350 to 400 square feet per gallon. So to figure out how many gallons of paint we need to buy, we have to figure out the square footage of the walls we want to paint. Let's take a look at just the bedroom walls. When we flatten out the walls, we can see that they're just a bunch of rectangles, and if we know the measurements, we can easily figure out the surface area of the walls. Let's see these walls laid out on paper. Now let's see them with some dimensions. That's better. To figure out the total surface area of the room, we have to figure out the surface area of each wall, and then add them all together. Finding the surface area of the long and short walls should be a piece of cake because they're plain rectangles. To find the surface area of the window and door walls, we'll need to find the area of the wall first, and then find the area of the window and door, and subtract the window and door area from the area of the wall. Let's do one together for practice. Before we can find the square footage of the short wall, we have a little problem to solve. Our formula for the surface area of a rectangle is base times height. We have the measurements for the rectangle, but they aren't quite ready yet. If we want to calculate the area in square feet, we need to do the math using feet. Our base dimension is 10 feet, so that one's fine, but our height dimension is 7 feet 9 inches. We need to turn this measurement into just feet before we can solve for the area, but we can't just round off the 9 inches. The wrong move here would just be to call it 7.9 feet. That's not the same measurement. Instead, we'll convert the 9 inches into the decimal equivalent of feet, and then add it back together with the 7 whole feet. Since there are 12 inches to a foot, we have to figure out the decimal equivalent of 9 out of 12. Not too difficult. We simply divide 9 by 12 and we get an answer of 0.75 feet. So our height measurement is 7.75 feet. Now we have what we need to find the area. 10 feet times 7.75 feet equals 77.5 square feet for this wall. Now you try. Find the surface area of each of the other walls using the same method shown in the demonstration. Make sure you're converting from feet and inches into just feet whenever necessary. Also remember that you will need to subtract the area of the door and window. Do any of the walls have the same dimensions? If so, maybe you don't have to perform those area calculations twice. Use the information on the left to figure out how much paint to buy. 1 gallon of paint covers 350 square feet. 1 quart of paint covers 87.5 square feet. 1 gallon costs $35. 1 quart costs $16. There are 4 quarts in a gallon. Calculating surface area is easy enough when we're dealing with basic shapes that we have a surface area formula for. But how do you suppose we figure out the surface area of trickier shapes like this one? The best way to handle the surface area of a complex shape like this one is to break it down into simpler shapes that we can solve using area formulas we know. This arrow could be divided into a rectangle and a triangle. We can find the area of the simple shapes and add them together to get the area of the arrow. This arrow has an area of 450 square units. Let's see if we can calculate the square footage of an outdoor deck to estimate the amount of stain needed to color it. Let's take a look at our house again. Now the house has a beautiful outdoor deck space. All that's missing is the wood stain to make it look like beautiful natural redwood. See if you can figure out the surface area of this space using the method we saw in the example. Congratulations on completing another installment of Shop Math. With a little practice, anybody can develop the skills needed to use math for real-world problems. See you next time.